Salam and welcome back to SomaliDispatch.com's YouTube channel. For Somali-related news in English, please visit SomaliDispatch.com. Somaliland government has presented a long-awaited plan to rebuild the burned-down Waaheen Market in the capital, Hargeisa, where traders lost billions of dollars. The Sudanese architect this week showcased a design of what the site might look like. To discuss the latest with Waaheen and that design, we contacted Wadani Party's Finance Secretary Hamse Kheyre. Hamse Kheyre, salam and welcome, and thanks for accepting our invitation to come and explain some of the questions surrounding Waaheen. If you can start us off by telling us, it's been a few months since the market burned down. What has been going on?
First, thanks for having me. It is 90 days since the fire broke out in Hargeisa, central city, Waaheen. It has been going a lot. First, on the night of April 1st, 2022, it was 8 in the evening when the fire broke out in the city. From that period onwards, there has been an effort to save assets and businesses. So the fire brigade, finished the job by Saturday. And then the job of recovery and helping the people and the businesses who have been affected by the fire was being registered, and fundraising for the victims have already started, and some of the jobs have already been finished. So within these 90 days, the President of the Republic of Somaliland issued an executive whereby he said he nominated a high-level ministerial committee for the recovery and the reconstruction of the Waaheen. This committee, provided us a list of to-do list short-term action plan, in which within that action plan, what was very important was they promised that they will start an investigation by the Department of Security. Department will start. So a team was set up in order to investigate what was the cause of the fire. There has been temporary shelters for the businesses that have been evacuated from the market, around 6 of them, which are located in various strategic locations in the city. So in short, a committee was set up. Temporary locations have been selected, and businesses are now operating temporarily in that, makeshift areas in the city. The committee have also made subcommittees, which are consisting of private sector people, traditional leaders, and religious people. These people have engaged, fundraising activities from within Somaliland and all over the country. So there has been a lot going on since the fire.
Right. I appreciate that, Hamse Kheyre. You're the Secretary of Finance and Tourism for the main opposition party, Wadani. As you've mentioned, there's been a lot of money collected and donations collected. The way the government handled the committees and it's been called an interference. How do you see the activities that the government undertook since April 1st?
The one disappointing thing that has happened since the fire is that the process has not been consultative. It lacked transparency. It has been haphazard, from here to there. This disaster, the fire disaster of Waaheen, was relatively small. It's not a national level. It's not even a citywide level. It's confined to a marketplace, even though the market is very important economically. Yet the government lacked, transparency in handling the process. For example, there was no effective humanitarian response in the initial phases of the disaster, of the fire. Because some people wanted food, some wanted shelter. If you have visited Hargeisa, the market is already located near the riverbed. And it was the rainy season. So the humanitarian response was not quite good. The process lacked transparency and inclusiveness because we have been expecting that all stakeholders should come together and sit together and sort out things. From that day on, I think it's 90 days since the fire broke out. No recovery strategy has been set up right now. We were expecting the committee to articulate a recovery vision for the market. No recovery vision, no defining strategy, nothing. It's a haphazard process which lacks transparency. One thing that's commendable is the way they handle it, the support, because they have distributed funds to those businesses who are affected. So small businesses, those which have been estimated to have an asset around 5,000 were refunded by 100% of their assets. So that's the only thing which is inspiring. All the other processes haphazard and lacks transparency.
So to move on, where is the government at with rebuilding Waaheen Market now? Now that we are at that stage where something has to be done structurally for the traders that did business there.
The process is not transparent, and we have no idea how much money has been collected from whom. All we know is that so far, most of the funds came from Somalilanders. And Djibouti, the neighboring country, Djibouti has also financed around 1,500,000. Most of the funds came from diaspora people, and Mogadishu government has also provided around $11 million to the recovery process. Most of the, my estimation is that they have collected around 20 million, $25 million so far. And remember, the initial estimate of the damage and loss of the market was 2 billion. That was an initial estimate. Our expectation was that a final consolidated report on the actual loss and damage will be provided to us. And that has not yet been done. It's just an estimate. They said it's 2 billion and they have collected only 20 million.
Right.
So without
go ahead.
Without the consolidated final assessment report of the damage and loss, it is very difficult to know the impact, the economic impact of the disaster and the affected population. What we all know is guesswork. We know that 5,000 businesses has been affected, an area of around 2 kilometers square, and an initial estimate of 2 billion, plus that the fundraising activities have so far achieved around $25 million. So with this 25 million, around 5,000 million have been spent on clearing the site, the material from the market, and refunding of businesses. Around 17 million and 16 million is what we are expecting to be in the hands in the account. So last week, coming back to your question, we have seen a Sudanese architectural company, which was said to have, won the contract for designing the market. The committee, high-level committee of the Waaheen Market Recovery told us that they have done advertisement that around 7 companies responded to their call for proposals, and they selected the Sudanese company. Out of that 7, we have no idea is this company contract related only for the design of the market or does it include construction itself. That's not yet clear. What's not yet clear how much has been spent and what was the fees given to this Sudanese company. There were also some competent local companies who could have provided such services. We have no idea their selection criteria and how much effort that has gone into it. It is one of the procurement is very crucial for successful recovery. But that has not been done quite properly. Yeah.
Right. All of the issues that you've highlighted that regard to transparency and how the process is unfolding and how perhaps only the presidency knows about, what's going on with Waaheen and its recovery and the funds collected. What does that tell you, and what should the public know about such, when you see certain things like that? What comes to mind?
Coming back to your question, there are two committees. One is for fundraising from the private sector. That committee has got a website. It's very transparent. You can visit gurmadkawahen.com, where you can see everything of the donations. Where does the money come from? And does it goes? It's the government part, the government-led part. That's not transparent. So we are very concerned that the process might not be well, run, and maybe corruption could come in here.
Right.
It could also disappoint because we are expecting many other people, mainly governments from around the world, to have, they have already sympathized with the people of Somaliland. When the fire broke out, they were ready to contribute their part, not only monetary terms, but also technically. But what I'm very much worried about is that the government is not providing the right, platform and the right forum for such people to come and provide funding and technical support. So it will hamper any contribution from governmental bodies from outside. It could also disappoint those who are waiting to start their businesses.
Right. To go back to the design that you mentioned that the Sudanese entity provided of the blueprint for rebuilding the market, what do the public know about that process and what we've seen, the sketches that we've seen? What did you walk away with when you saw what they presented?
Very, very little is known about it. There was a presentation which has been televised all over the country. The information is not quite detailed. If, for example, we don't know how much has been spent as a fees for the consulting firm. We don't know if this blueprint is costed and how much it will cost. We don't know whether this building is only for the private only marketplace that were destroyed by the fire, or is it the public properties that has been destroyed? Does it cover all of the market, or does it cover parts? Even if it covers all of the market, we don't know if the government or the committee is going to provide funding for those privately owned properties that has been destroyed by the fire. And the information I have received is that they are going to provide less than 5% to those privately owned, buildings which were destroyed by the fire. That's very disappointing, and I think that will also trigger another problem when it comes very clear to the people. So the government needs to come out to conduct a forum and to consult with all those stakeholders. The process should be clear and transparent.
Right. The consultancy group called Murtada Mas Consultants were the ones providing the design. When you look at Hargeisa and the layout and the way the market used to be and what this company presented as a design, do you think that is what is needed in Hargeisa now? And is it even feasible to build such a site in your opinion?
Yeah, I am not an engineer. I'm an expert in the area, but I feel that it is not quite the right thing to do, because they said this thing is not yet costed. They already by the side of the river. So what we want to know, what we want to see, we would like to see is a recovery vision. What will the market be? What will the services will afford to the people? Because previously the sanitation was not good. There was no mechanism for disposing, waste. There was no. It was very congested. The initial estimate of the committee was that around 5,000 businesses, are located in the market, and the design is said to have the capacity of around 1,000. I'm not sure, it was around 1,000. So what about the 4 or 3 other businesses? How will the government distribute and allocate these businesses to the affected people? We would like to see more openness and transparency in this process, because that's a key ingredient to accountability and oversight, right?
Right. Those of us that are familiar or perhaps seen pictures of Waaheen see the market as an open market, very, as you said, congested and very busy place. And it was more of a organically, put together market rather than a mall. And the designs presented by the consultancy group, indicates that the rebuilding would be a mall. Is that in lockstep with the city design and what the public need in Hargeisa?
That's what I mean. When I say they have no on the coordination of the market, we would have been able to know all these questions. What kind of market are they going? Will they still in the same place, or is it possible to move the market elsewhere? Will the market be open air market, or will it be a mall? All these questions are unsettled, and the process is not inclusive as it should be.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, what we need is the government to come back to the table and sit with all stakeholders like the business people themselves. We are also very much worried about the beneficiary list. The list of those businesses who have been refunded should have been published for public view, so that we know that women are well represented in who have a special place in the market, and those small micro businesses have been accounted for in the support and refunding process. So what we need is more transparency, inclusiveness. There is no even coordination mechanism in place. The process is highly centralized. The president himself, even though he nominated a committee, he himself is running the process. So this could lead to a delayed construction plan, to demotivated business community and donors. So we are very much worried about the process and how it could become a successful one.
Thank you very much, Hamse Kheyre, for your time today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Have a great night.